Okay, so this is a continuation, a part two of the labor process that we started. So when we talk of the latent phase of labor, that is when your midwife will tell you that, oh, madam, you are just a tip dilated. Okay, from just tip dilation to 3 dilatation of what? Labor. Okay, so some will say you are tip dilated. That means it's not just a little tip that will go inside this, and others will tell you you are 1 cm dilated, 2 cm dilated, 3 cm dilated. So from that tip dilatation, 1 cm dilatation to 3 centimeters dilatation, that is when we call it what? The latent phase of labor. I hope we understand. Okay, so what should I expect in the latent phase of labor? With the latent phase of labor, your contractions are not so intense, okay, and the contractions will last less than what? 20 seconds. When we talk about the contractions, I explained it in the previous one that it is when your uterus becomes what? Very hard, it becomes tense, and you what? Feel this from the upper part of your what? Your abdomen down to the entire, and it radiates to the entire abdomen, so that your abdomen becomes so hard. And when it becomes very hard, you have what? Severe lower abdominal pains, or back pains, or what? Your waist pains, whichever one works for you, because we are all different. Health is dynamic. We are all different, so there is no one size fit all. It's not everybody who has lower abdominal pains. Some people may not have lower abdominal pains, but they would have what? Severe waist pains or what? Back pains. Okay. So when you have the uterus becomes tensed, that is a contraction, then you have lower abdominal pains. That stage, or that pain, will last. When you look at your second hand watch, it will last for below what? 20 seconds. Then we are going to time this for 10 minutes. So in 10 minutes, how many of the seconds are you getting? Are you getting two in 10 seconds, two contractions in 10 seconds, all lasting what? Below 20 seconds? Okay. So if you are getting maybe 1 to 2 contractions, or 1 to 3 contractions in what? 10 seconds, all lasting below what? The 30 or the 20 seconds, then you are in the latent phase of labor. Do you understand? So if you time that one and you see that you are below 20 seconds, you take your bath, you eat very well. For this time, I prefer you eat our local food: banku, fufu, dessert, everything heavy, anything heavy you can find. Don't say you are not hungry, because that is why it has been what? Termed labor. Labor means work. You are going to work. The whole system from your head to your feet is going to work. Okay, so you need energy to go on this journey. Do we understand? You have already been told what to bring when you are what? Coming for labor. So we'll not waste much time on that. So when you are in the latent phase of labor, bath very well, shave everywhere that is shaveable. Then you do what? You eat very well. Okay, then you pack your things neatly, then come to the hospital. When you come to the hospital, this is what we do for you. I've told you that we check your temperature, your pulse, your respiration, your what? Your blood pressure, your oxygen saturation. So that when you come and your temperature is very high, you would have to do what? Other investigations to find out why your temperature is high. So that if there is an infection, we put you on antibiotics, then we treat it for you. Then also, if your blood pressure is very high, that is you are also put on medication. But if it's in between, you are managed, okay, on rest, and it depends on how high your blood pressure is. That is what will determine the line of action for your treatment. Okay, then also we check what's your dilatation. So if you are 1 to 3 cm, we will counsel you. If your waters have broken, then your midwife will do what? Will counsel you to lie on your bed. But if your waters have not broken, your midwife will what? Counsel you to walk around, okay? Just to what? To familiarize yourself with the world, to take your mind off the pains that you are having. Because in the latent phase of labor, below the 20 seconds pain, it is not pain. I will say it is not pain, because we are now going to go to graduate. Okay, not to scare you, we'll go through this. Okay, so whatever pain you are going through in the latent phase of labor, it is not pain at all. So chillax. The pains are coming, but we'll get over this. Okay, if your waters are broken, the reason why your midwife will tell you to lie down and not roam is that once the water is broken, the cord can what? Slip through. And once the cord precedes the baby, it is what? An emergency, an obstetric emergency. You would have to be taken to the theater for immediate what? Surgery, so that cesarean section, so that the baby will be removed. Because if the baby is not removed within a time frame, we may lose our baby. So you have 2 women coming to the labor ward. They are all in the latent phase of labor, and the midwife will tell one to walk around and tell the other to lie down. This may be one of the reasons why the other person may be told to lie down. Other times, someone's BP may be so high that the person needs monitoring and wouldn't be allowed to walk around. Now, what should you do in the latent phase of labor? I've told you to eat all the heavy foods you can, walk around, drink water as much as you can. Okay, then empty your bladder. You urinate often. Okay, then if you want to go to the private, you can go. Do you understand? In the latent phase of labor. For the active phase of labor, once you enter the active phase of labor, that is from 4 centimeters to 7 centimeters. From 4 centimeters to 7 centimeters, you are not allowed to take in heavy food. That is why you are told to bring your Milo and other things. Okay, the reason being that if in any stage of part of the labor, if the labor halts, if the labor stops, if the labor does not progress anymore, and we would want to go and do cesarean section, if you have eaten heavy food, we may have to intubate you, and it will be so uncomfortable. Okay, so take in the light food. Okay, the porridges, the Milo and the mashke and the other things, so that in case at any point in time you want to go in and remove the baby, it will be easy for you and for us. Do you understand? So from the 4 centimeters of labor, for the 4 centimeters, that is when your cervix has opened from 4 centimeters to 7 centimeters. The contractions is between 21 to 40 seconds, the active phase. Okay, 21 to 40 seconds and above. Okay, 21 to 40 seconds and above. Okay, then we also have the third stage of the first stage, the third part of the first stage, which is the transitional phase. That one is your contractions are very strong. Your contractions are very strong. That is where the transitional phase is, where we hear the confessions in the labor ward. That is when our mother starts insulting and all that. Your contractions are 45 and above, up to 60. Okay, the contractions are so intense, just to bring the baby out. Do we understand? So this is the first stage of labor. And what is expected of us in all the stages of labor? The first stage of labor, with regards to our eating, our water drinking, our personal hygiene and all that. Catch me on the next episode of labor, and let me take you through what to expect in the first stage of labor. Thank you.